forward. Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the episode 74 of the Uncommon Commentators. I'm the boy Antoine. And this main man, Garrett Brown. The man you just heard was Wiley on the ones and twos. As always, got to give a shout out to the boy Wiley. Thank y'all so much for joining us this evening, this Thursday night, as we always like to go live here. It's discussing some basketball, as we always like to, the thrill and the agony of basketball, the NBA playoffs, of course. But yeah, Garrett, how you doing, man? Yo, how was your Thursday? How's your week been so far, brother? Most definitely.
Yeah, man, everything's good. Keeping up with NBA playoffs. Of course, it's the most exciting time of the season. So it'll be interesting to see, who advances to the second round and go on from there.
Man, me and you both. And that's the thing about basketball. Like, these first rounds thoroughly go pretty quick for the most part, as we're about to discuss. So we also having some crazy series go on to some game sixes. Haven't had a game 7 yet, apparently, but hey, we'll see what happens. But of course, starting off with the teams, you got eliminated. We did see the Oklahoma City Thunder. They go on to sweep the Memphis Grizzlies, even with both their stars healthy, John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. They swept them. Of course, Ja did hurt his hip at one point in the series, so he was out in that game 4. But there was one point, I think it was the game before that, they had a pretty significant lead and they blew it. And they came back and OKC won. And that really just tied the knot on the series when Ja was announced out the next game. Obviously, Oklahoma's living up to the hype that they're supposed to in the first round. No one really saw them losing to Memphis to begin with when they came out the play-in. Outside of that, some people aren't the biggest fans of SGA, given his play style, stuff like that, how he'll get himself to the free throw line. But of course, the 26-year-old is right there for the MVP award. So he's obviously doing something right. How did you feel about Oklahoma's performance, and where do you think Memphis goes from here? Obviously, they fired their head coach, Taylor Jenkins, before the playoffs even started. So they were looking at a pretty uphill climb either way. But what do you think is going to happen with the Memphis Grizzlies? Like, do you think Ja stays? Triple J, obviously, they still have a really talented young core on paper, but they've been bounced out playoffs again in the first round, this time at that. And after a bumpy season, after playing really good in the first half of the regular season at that. So obviously they're showing some inconsistency issues in their performances. So how did you feel about the series if you got to watch it? I know that was a West Coast series, so it came on pretty late for the most part. But how did you feel about Oklahoma and Memphis's future, most definitely?
Yeah, it's not really surprising. I think best case scenario, that series would have gone to 5 games, given the fact that not Oklahoma, but Memphis, they had a 29-point lead, but they blew it, which is crazy. But obviously, Memphis, they have a lot of things to work on this off season. Of course, the first thing is who's going to be the new head coach. And I'm not really sure what candidates they could go for. Only candidate I could go for right now is Mike Budenholzer. I
Or
think
Mike
that's
Malone?
yeah, Mike Malone, but there of course there are gonna be candidates out there, but just to name a couple. But I think for Memphis, I think that they have a solid young core. I think they may need to make some changes to the roster, maybe potentially add another, star to the group, or possibly revamping their bench, something like that though. But I think that they are in the right direction. I think they just need to tighten a few screws. But obviously, it's not surprising for Oklahoma. I think a lot of people knew that OKC was going to beat them in this round. But like I said, I think best case scenario for Memphis was to at least push it to 5 games, since they had such a big lead. But during that point in that one game, but no, I think OKC. I think they're on the right track. I think that they will make it to the conference finals. So, but yeah, it's not really surprising. So, yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what they do in the next round. So we just have to wait and see for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly my favorite part of the playoffs, obviously. Like when we do get to see the best teams go up against each other, get the eighth seeds out of there. Obviously, you have some eighth seeds have some upsets fairly recently in the past, most notably that Heat team that did go to the finals that lost to the Denver Nuggets. And speaking of the Nuggets, the Thunder will face the winner of the Nuggets and Clippers series. Me personally, I think that's going to be an incredible series where no matter who comes out of that, like just seeing like the Nuggets and Clippers series, like seeing James Harden turn back the clock like this. We almost had Bogdan Bogdanovic fight Russell Westbrook at one point. That's one matchup. That's one matchup I never saw happening. You even saw James Harden come and push Bogdan Bogdanovic back. He's like, because obviously Russell and James have a really tight relationship after going to the finals together at an extremely young age back in 2012. And yeah, man, like again for Memphis, they still have a really bright future. Their core is still really young, so they really just got to get the new coach this offseason. I would like to see Mike Budenholzer with a team like that. I think I mentioned it before. I'd prefer him over Mike Malone. I think Michael Malone's aggressive approach really won't get through to the team like that, especially like knowing Ja, Jaren's personality. So I think they'll want a coach that will take a more easier approach and really teach more than trying to employ and command things of that nature. I think Mike Budenholzer will be tailor made for that team, especially given their offensive firepower and their shooting prowess. I do think that Coach Bud, of course, the former hot coach, won Coach of the Year down here. That's the boy. Always shout out to Coach Bud, most definitely. I think he'd be great for the Memphis Grizzlies. And that's it, man. Like, obviously, they still have two stars at the top of the roster. Jaren Jackson Jr. played really solid this year. And Ja did as well. Just really want to see Ja back in the All-Star game where he belongs, most definitely. And want to see him focus more. Obviously, he lost some money again this year with some on-court antics. My favorite, personally, I don't think he got fined for it, but ESPN did report on it when he did like a mock throwing a grenade. I know what I think about that shit. It's just like he literally took it to another level. It's like, yo, you might as well like went to the military. You feel me? Like dead ass. But yeah, man, I think Oklahoma are gonna do great against either the Nuggets or the Clippers. I think it's gonna be a fairly well-rounded series. If I had to say what I prefer to see the most, I do want to see the Nuggets versus Oklahoma. I do want to see those two MVP candidates prove who's the better MVP with their teams, with their cores. Of course, the Clippers have played great too. I have to give respect to them. Denver is up on them 3-2 right now, and Denver could eliminate the Clippers tonight as the game kicks off at 10 p.m. For those of y'all who are watching that West Coast matchup. But of course, going to the other series as well. We did see that the Cleveland Cavaliers did sweep the Miami Heat. It was pretty devastating losses for the Miami Heat. At one point, I'm pretty sure the score was like 82-38 or something like that. I've never seen that in an NBA game like a 44-point lead like that. Like that was just like absolutely absurd.
They got beat by 55.
That's
138 to 83. I'm just like, I mean, even Tyler Hero said, "Hey, we're not gonna go out getting swept." I mean, 55. Jeez, like it's like it was really like a high school game. It was like they didn't even like try. Like I don't even want to like look at the scoreboard to see like how many points. I don't even want to look at the scoreboard really. Like I mean, I don't even know like how many points this guy scored. It's just crazy, bro. Like that's so embarrassing. But
yeah, man, like for real, like, it was just a pretty bad matchup for the Miami Heat. I thought Cleveland was just too athletic. The bench was too good for them. They just really kind of mirrored the Heat in a little kind of a way, but just had a really better roster all the way throughout. I'm excited for the Heat's future though. No matter the first round exit, I do want to see what Tyler Hero does as the franchise player. Now he did make the All-Star team this year, so you could say he has officially arrived in terms of his development. And like for me personally, obviously for Cleveland, it's these two conference finals or bust. No really need to really dwell on that too much. They're just really stacked right now. They have the reigning defensive player of the year, a star backcourt, a star front court. They got DeAndre Hunter on the bench. So it really is remarkable to see how stacked that roster really is. And they're young too. So even if they don't win the ring this year, they very well could. Eventually, as Evan Mobley becomes even better at the power forward position, Jared Allen continues to get older. I'm at 28, 29, 30. So it's I can't say it's surprising because they had always been a good team, especially in the Donovan Mitchell era, you could say. But to see them really come out and be a powerhouse like this, be this dominant, is pretty incredible for the Cleveland Cavaliers post LeBron era. I'm honestly not. I won't say speechless because we have seen great teams before. But for this team right here, of course, they're 64-18. I'd be shocked if we don't see them face off with the Boston Celtics. And I mean, man, we mentioned this on the other podcast. Obviously, at one point, I think the Celtics were up to 29-3 on the Cavs at one point in a regular season game, and the Cavs came back and beat them that fucking game. So I really want to see how that would go over a 7-game series, really seeing the adjustments with Joe Mazzulla and Kenny Atkinson like that. I don't think the coach of the year has been announced yet. I do think it most definitely should be between Mark Daigneault of the Oklahoma City Thunder and Kenny Atkinson of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But where do you think Miami goes from here, Tyler Hero? Do you think they trade Bam? Do you think they build around Clay Ware for the future? He played great against us, against the Hawks in the playing tournament. He went off. He played pretty solid in my opinion. But where do you think the Heat go from here with Tyler Hero as the new face of their franchise now? That they went through a lot this season with trying to get Jimmy Butler out of there mid-season, a whole bunch of drama and inner turmoil. So where do you think Miami goes from here next season? Because obviously Cleveland's just gonna keep on winning even next year. So how do you feel about Miami right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're at a two-way street right now to determine what's best for the organization, whether if they are going to continue to compete, try to fill out the roster, go star hunting to
Yep.
pair with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, or they decide to go into a full rebuild, um, trade Bam to get assets back in return, possibly for Tyler Hero as well. But I think there have been swirls of whether or not if Pat Riley should continue to be the executive of the Miami Heat.
Mhm.
But for me, I think that he should because he's really the face of the franchise. He's the engine to the whole thing. So I think for me, I think that they honestly, I think they should go into a full rebuild because of the fact that Bam Adebayo, he's not getting any younger.
Mhm.
And yeah, even though you have Tyler Hero, he's still young. But I mean, you traded Jimmy Butler, you pretty much had no choice, and pretty much all the guys that were there when they went to the finals not too long ago, those guys are gone. So you know, I guess it's just where if you're looking to bring in like a Kevin Durant type of player, or I don't know if you're possibly trying to, go after Giannis if he becomes available in a trade,
Mhm.
this offseason, because that's definitely going to be one of the biggest highlights of this offseason. That's really where a lot of teams are going to be pointing their, nose to. But
Yep.
so, so I guess it's just where some stuff just have to fall into their lap. I think some things just have to go right for Miami to determine what they're going to do. But like I said, I just don't think that where they are right now, I just don't see them really competing for a championship anytime soon. So I think just knowing how young they are now, I think it's best for them to, like I said, get assets for Bam Adebayo. That's their, best, trade asset.
Mhm.
Um, you could get a solid young player back in return for him, and maybe a few, draft, first round picks for him. So but no, I think for Miami, I think they just at a crossroad right now. But like I said, I think for me, if they go into a full rebuild, then hey, they can just start fresh and go on from there. So, like I
Mhm.
said, Pat Riley, he knows how to build winners. This is a world class organization. They've won championships before, so I know Pat Riley can
Mhm.
do it again. So I don't see no issue with that.
Yeah, man, he's 80 years old now. He Pat, I mean, for real, man. PR getting up there, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I was watching the Winning Time HBO biopic kind of thing you could say that they did on the Lakers, and like just seeing how he like started as commentator, not to really work his way up as an assistant coach, obviously being a former Laker on the team at that. It was really cool to see his story. Obviously he was the Knicks coach as well, but he was known for being the Showtime Lakers head coach. So he's been doubted a lot the last few off seasons. Obviously 80 years old, like no matter what you say, like you're not gonna moving around the same you were at a younger age, having to get up, take that many phone calls, send that many emails, like try to trade, have that many conversations with that many people all day, every day. I don't think he's really doing that nowadays. I think he really just holds the throne per se, you could say. Just off seniority, pure seniority about what he's done throughout his career, being one of the top 15 coaches in NBA history. So I think at 80 years old, we're going to see him retire pretty soon. And they're going to get a new president of basketball operations, for a new GM, all that. And I think Eric Spoelstra, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think so. He's still pretty young, in my opinion. So he's not going anywhere. He's been with the Heat for forever. I'll go back and watching highlights of because it was pretty funny. Like someone said that LeBron had never been tried before on the court or whatever. And I pulled up a video. I thought of when Nazir Muhammad of the Chicago Bulls had pushed LeBron after he wrapped up LeBron in the middle of the court. And then seeing Eric Spoelstra, because that was the 2012 game, so that was like 13 years ago. Seeing him like back then, like, and just seeing like, because he's been with the team since like 2008, like a super duper long time. But to see him like still be here, like, and he went to the finals 2 times after that, even after losing LeBron James and all that. So it really is cool to see him still be here. He will be a Hall of Famer when he does decide to retire. Eric Spoelstra, 1000%. And yeah, man, even before we end with the first round, you reminded me, we did see the Indiana Pacers defeat the Milwaukee Bucks. That was pretty surprising, especially after seeing Damian Lillard come back after his whole blood clot issue and things of that nature. So it sucked, man, to really see him go out there, Giannis, that is, and really all that effort really just go to waste like that. And obviously everyone's walking away with a viral clip of Mr. Halliburton, Tyrese Halliburton's father, getting in Giannis's face, almost fighting Giannis on the court. Shaq and Charles even got into it on the NBA TNT show, because Shaq was saying, it comes with the territory. All-star player, superstar player. They're gonna, players are always gonna get in their face, and then Charles Barkley, of course, I did agree with Chuck. And he was saying that, like, he's in his face. He has no right, you being the parent of a player. The court is a sacred area for all players. You have earned the right to be in an NBA jersey on an NBA floor like that. So, and it came out ESPN earlier this afternoon. They said he was not banned, but it said he's not. For the foreseeable future, he won't be allowed to any games like that. I know the owner was probably livid. The GM was livid. They were definitely, as a franchise, definitely embarrassed for sure. Especially, the parent of your franchise player going up to another franchise player. And, like, it was just a recipe for disaster for the Indiana Pacers. But hey, they won though, 4-1. They advanced, so they did what they were supposed to. But Wiley, I see you came up, man. I would love to see what you got to say, man, for sure.
Yeah. First off, Shaq, you shut the hell up, because that does not come with the territory. Yeah, fans talking shit in the stands, that comes with the territory. Fans coming out on the court, that does not come with the fucking territory. You sitting here fucking talking about I played 19 years. We know how long you played. Guess what? Ain't nobody run up on you like Halliburton's daddy ran up on. He lucky that Giannis did not punch him in the fucking throat, because that's probably what I would have done, just on the strength that my emotions are still. Giannis's emotions are still sky high.
Everybody's emotions are high, logic is low.
And you walk up to him with your towel, blanket, whatever the hell it was, with your son's face on it, and then proceeded to say whatever it was to provoke him. You were in the wrong. So to get what you got from Giannis, even after the fact, he came up and shook your hand and said whatever he had to say. And also, I saw that his wife hit Giannis, which again,
I didn't see that.
Emotion still high. You lucky that Giannis didn't. Y'all are lucky Giannis reacted the way that he did. That's all I'm saying. And for motherfuckers that again, Shaq, I'll point this straight at Shaq. Shaq, for you to be like, oh, this comes with the territory. Do we not remember the Malice in the Palace when them fans hopped out on the floor and guess what they call a sliding motherfucking right hook from
Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson. So again,
nah, that was Jermaine O'Neal.
Steven Jackson, both of them. It don't even matter. The fact of the matter is, your son is at work. These gentlemen that are on the court that have jerseys on, guess what? That court, that's their place of employment.
That's
that is
their
not
office.
your place of employment. So you need to sit in the fucking stands like the rest of the fans, cheer your son on. And again, why are you up in Giannis' face? You should be cheering with your son if you're gonna do all that.
Yep.
That shit pissed me off because I'm like, if Giannis would have reacted, then it would have been a whole nother thing. But for me, Giannis would have been in the right.
Messy by that point.
Giannis would have been in the right. Oh, shout out, Steve. Yep, Ron Artest. Hey, the Malice in the Palace, dog. The Malice in the Palace is something else. And again, last night could have been that because you want to run up on Giannis of all people and pop shit as if his emotions aren't like his
that's not a battle. You're gonna win, bro.
Yeah. So I'm glad that the Pacers went ahead and revoked his, hey, you can't show up. Sit your ass at home.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Pacers because that's some bullshit. Because again, you do not know what people are capable of, and you do not know what this man is thinking as you run up on him because he had every right to sock you in the jaw.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you can read his lips, like when they went forehead to forehead like that. You can read when he called him like that. You can read his lips. It's like, hey, you can read here. Like it's man, like I can't really tell you like what could possibly possess you to think you have the right to go up to a player like that, especially like a future Hall of Famer. Like I said, it'd be different if it was like a role. Of course, any NBA player.
It don't even matter if it's a role player or a superstar.
I was gonna say, like
you roll up on somebody like that, they liable to punch you in the damn face, and they in the right. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. And like for me personally, I think obviously for one, like he's on a whole different cloud nine that his son's in the NBA. His son's definitely, will help him here and there with some money problems, this and that. And he feels a sense of entitlement with his son being the franchise player. And he's seen his son go from elementary school, middle school, high school, like to just like really be playing at this level. I can only imagine how, like, and I'm not in any way am I justifying way. I'm just saying what was probably going through his mind. And like I do agree with Wiley. Giannis, I think could have killed him, to be real. Like if they ever came to blows or anything like that, Giannis would destroy that man. For anyone who's never seen Antetokounmpo in person, he really is like a specimen. Regionally, of course, call him the Greek freak, stuff like that. It's just the fact he's so big at 6'11", and muscular, not like barely any body fat on Giannis. Like it really is crazy to see him. And at 31 years old, still playing great. And again, of course, to keep him on the floor, we'll see what the Bucks do. Giannis is going to be the hottest commodity this offseason. I don't know if he'll stay, man. I really can't. I'm only bringing it up because I truly do think he might leave. It's not a hypothetical circumstance. I think he might actually leave Milwaukee. He won them a championship already. His job is done. If he were to leave right now, he would still get a jersey retirement 100%. And it's happened to the Bucks franchise in the past. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went back to Los Angeles. Of course, he played in UCLA before he got drafted to Milwaukee. So he went right back to LA in 1975 after winning a ring for the Bucks. I believe in 71, they won that ring in 71. So, do you think Giannis actually leaves, Garrett, before we leave off on this topic? Do you think he actually leaves? Or do you think, loyalty is going to win? And do you think he just stays in Milwaukee with Damian Lillard trying to win it, run it back more year?
Yeah, I don't see him staying in Milwaukee, not because I want him to, and hope that the Hawks could get in the sweepstakes or anything like that. Just comes to the simple fact that they haven't been successful ever since they won that championship a few years back. And not just that, but when you look at the current situation with Milwaukee, I mean, you have a disgruntled star in Damian Lillard because things are not going well in Milwaukee for him as well. They don't have, draft assets to improve the roster, and they just don't have a lot to work with, honestly. So they can't necessarily move forward and upgrade the roster when they don't really have
Mhm.
anything to um they don't have any assets or tools to put something together. So I think for Giannis, I think at some point of course he's gonna take his time and think over it. But to me, I just think where what he wants to do now, and he's even said it before, like even though that he loves Milwaukee, he wants to win in Milwaukee, but at the same time, winning comes first for him. So
Mhm.
if he has to leave to achieve that, then that's what he'll do. So unless now has been reported that Milwaukee and Giannis will sit down and have a meeting in the near future just to go over, their plans and things of that nature. So I'm not saying it's going to be soon until we get an answer, but no, I think my pulse is he's ready to move on from Milwaukee, and hopefully that he'll be able to get another ring before he retire. So we just have to wait. But yeah, it'll definitely be a interesting off season for sure.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and see the thing is, obviously with him being in his prime right now, it's just for me, like I don't know how much longer Giannis has playing at this level. He's really unique. Some players rely on their jump shot, some rely on their athleticism to get the points. He can do a little bit of both. Of course, he doesn't be the best 3-point shooter, but he has gotten better in recent years. You can say that he really relies on his athleticism, of course, slashing to the rim, using his body in the post. Of course, yes, he can shoot some middies here and there, of course, as well. But really a monster out in transition. So I am interested to see how much Giannis, how much longer he does have playing at this level. I only say that because we'll obviously determine how long of a contract he'll get. But I think based off the namesake alone, I think he will still get like a 4-year, 5-year max. He's still in his prime right now, so you'll get the best out of him if you do decide to sign him. And he does win you games. He does not have dead numbers. So that's the first round, though. Again, we're gonna see what happens. Most definitely, the Houston Rockets are playing the Golden State Warriors. I'm pretty sure the Warriors are up right now, 3-2. So we'll see if the Warriors can close that out. Yeah, man. Like, how did you feel about the first round? As in general, before we move on, it was pretty good first round. We had some close games, had some blowouts. So, how'd you feel about the first round? Also, it was like the largest opening first round in like the last 25 years, in terms of the rating. So, how'd you feel about the first round in general?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty predictable. I mean, you may get a surprise here and there. For example, against the New York Knicks and the Pistons,
Yep.
it seems like the Knicks are going to close it out, but I
Hold
didn't
on,
check the
brother.
score,
Wait a
but
minute. Wait a minute. Score. Pistons have come back as we are recording. The
oh,
Pistons
what's the
have
score?
the score. I think it's 103-103.
Oh, it's tied.
Yeah.
Okay, because New York
Yeah.
they were up
Yes.
101 to 92. Okay, so in that case, yeah, then this series could go to 7 games. So that's why I say you could catch a couple of surprises in the first round. So but I mean, yeah, I mean, for the most part, when you look at other, series, it pretty much, like I said, was predictable. You expect Boston to beat Orlando. You expected Cleveland to, beat Miami and OKC and things of that nature. I think the Nuggets and the Clippers series that could go to 7 games. I could see that for sure. Of
Mhm.
course, it was kind of a surprise to see the Wolves beat the Lakers in 5 games. Some people
Yeah.
may not have expected that. But yeah, that was interesting as well. But no, I think for the most part, like I said, I think for round one, a lot of things went the way that we expected to. So but
Mhm.
yeah, I think once we get to the second round and of course the conference finals, and that's when things really get really, interesting. So we just have to see.
Yeah, man. Beautiful way to put a bow on it. last thing I will say about this Pistons and Knicks series, for me, this has low-key been the best series in the first round, only because, like, outside of game one, where the Knicks did win by 11 points, they beat them on the home floor like they were supposed to. The Pistons stole the next game by 6 points, and then from then on there, New York beat them in Detroit 118 to 116, and then they led the series 3-1. And then after beating them the next game, 94 to 93, another 1 point deficit. And then the Pistons won the last game by 3 points, 106 103. And now they're on the verge of like damn near going to overtime in the fourth quarter in a game 6. So that really goes to show you people are going to go off New York. For me, that really tells you Detroit is really on their way. The East really has a certain amount of time before like Kay Cunningham with that core around him. And they got Ron Holland now, like, and Oster Thompson. It's just like they're really gonna be super scary for a pretty long time, and they deserve it after being bad for so long. I can only hope that the Washington Wizards get the same luck this summer. Of course, like Garrett did mention, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers did lose in the first round. It was the first.
Brother. I got it from here.
Most definitely, for sure.
I got it from here. All right, y'all. Welcome to Uncommon Commentators Therapy Corner. So, just to give everybody a backstory real quick. A good conversation was had between Antoine and Garrett. One that I really wanted to highlight for the show for you all. It started with about the Lakers. As we know, the Lakers just lost last night, and they are no longer in the playoffs. Lost to the Timberwolves 4-1.
4-1.
Cool. But prior to trying to make, again, everybody has their predictions. So Antoine, he had, of course, given his Lakers take. We have this, and hey, not a bad take. Not a bad take.
Okay.
Not a bad take. That's all I'm saying. It's not a bad take. So while with that being said, I'm going to give the floor to you, Antoine. We're going to break this down layer by layer. So with that tweet, I want you to go ahead and explain your side before we get into the nitty gritty of the actual conversation.
Yeah, man. So, for those that don't know, you feel me? I'm a sports journalist. I cover the Atlanta Hawks for Fansided Sports Network, for Soaring Down South. Also for the Lead Sports Media, I do cover the Atlanta Hawks as well. On top of covering the Los Angeles Lakers, for anyone that does not know. So it's always my job to be objective covering the team. It's not my job to be a fan of the team. I have to cover the team objectively, which is what I do realistically all the time, from articles to tweets, any podcast like that. Always being real in my approach to breaking down the 17-time champions. So obviously it's a big beat. Everyone knows about the Lakers, so there's always eyes on them. People always love to critique them, whether good or bad. Always love to root against them, knowing how illustrious of a franchise that it is. So not being around the bush or nothing like that. We had a conversation talking about the Lakers had just destroyed the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma. And then it was the first of a 2-game series in the regular season. Oklahoma won the second game. But the biggest thing about that was that Luka Doncic did get ejected when the score was 107 to like 106, with the Lakers leading. I think it was in the third quarter or the fourth. It was in the second half. Sure, the game was definitely almost over for certain. And they lost. So we had a conversation about that, talking about if it happened in a series, like what do you think would happen, and things of that nature. And I was like, oh man, like I didn't say nothing bold, not disrespecting Oklahoma. No. It's all good. It's all good. For sure. Yeah, most definitely. Okay. And even saying this, for anyone that might be disagreeing with this, Rob Pelinka came out today and said like one of his biggest things is that he does want to get LeBron a 5th ring before he retires, and like I feel like it can happen. LeBron, obviously, if you watch him on the floor, he has undoubtedly declined. Like, it's not like he can go in and just dunk on anybody when he wants to, when he's giving contact. He doesn't take it as well as he used to. Obviously, he had the groin injury. He even he took a bad hit from Dante DiVincenzo during the game 5, and he was on the floor, limped off the floor, and came back into the game. And even then, and again, to keep it with what was going on, I said that I think that the Lakers can beat Oklahoma if they in a playoff series. I said it would be close. I didn't say they beat them 4-1 or anything like that. I said I do think it could go about maybe at least like 6 games, something like that. And maybe like it would come down to who has home court advantage with which Oklahoma would have being the higher seed. And I think just off the game where they beat them in Oklahoma like that, both teams were fully healthy. There was no excuses on either side or anything like that. And the Lakers did amazing. Now, with the second game that happened, it was a tie game. It was super close. The moment they lost Luka, it was over after that. So to me, I just feel like that showed the Lakers had a pretty good playoff run in them, at least, to say the least. They were the betting favorites, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And obviously they ran into a generational talent in the 23-year-old Anthony Edwards. So I'm making excuses.
So before we get to that point, all right. I want to bring up Garrett. So before I bring up Garrett, with that statement, how confident were you at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Like how confident were you when you posted that as far as when it came to the Lakers? Like just whatever percentage.
Mm-hmm. Is Garrett there?
No, I'm asking you, Antoine.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're asking me.
Yeah. What was your?
Me? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that, Wiley. Yeah, man. I mean, confident. At the time, they were in like the 3rd seat. They were looking pretty good. Like, you feel me? They had one of the best dynamic duos in the league, undoubtedly. Not even on paper when they do perform up to their level, because both had devastating injuries. Like, Luka even had a back injury in the Minnesota series in Game 5. He had the flu Game 3 when they went up to Minnesota, and you could just notice the difference in him. Obviously, I'm not making excuses, but these things did happen. They were reported, just saying what happened. But to answer your question, how confident was I? I mean, they were looking pretty good for sure. They finished like 50 and 32. Like had the bench percentage. I mean, in winning a championship, probably like.
I'm saying in that tweet and where you thought the Lakers was going. What was the percentage?
Like 55%, maybe like 60%. I definitely like at least 60%. At least 60%. They had a really good team on paper.
Right. So as we move forward, of course, Antoine comes in. Garrett comes in, and here's our back and forth. Here's the back and forth that I completely missed. And again, so now I want to give Garrett the floor, because this got interesting and it got good. So for everyone that's watching, everyone that's listening, this got good for me because I didn't see this coming. And it was a great back and forth that I wanted y'all to share. And I'm like, all right, we got to get this on the pod. So Garrett, I want to bring you up. I want to have you go ahead and give your take as to your rebuttal when it came to Antoine's post in the chat.
Yep.
Yeah, as you mentioned, earlier of his tweet, right? It's not a bad take at all, right? My only rebuttal is this: I don't compare what's happening in regular season to the playoffs, because it's a different atmosphere, it's a different intensity, physicality, things of that nature. So I have seen it from many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where teams can have ton of success in the regular season, right? But then in the playoffs, they fall apart, they come up short. So for me, even though that, yes, when you look at Luka and LeBron together, you see that the chemistry has become very, very well. They click, they feed off of each other, and they have improved because they were a top 3, seed when they ended the year. But to me, I just don't think that even though that you may have beaten them once or twice in the regular season, meaning OKC, I don't really take that as a sample size or evidence to say, hey, this is a team that can, beat them 4 out of 7 games. Because like I said, in the playoffs, it's a different atmosphere. So it's totally different. So I think for me and with the Lakers, I didn't see them winning a championship because, like I said, even though the LeBron and Luca pairing it works great, they just to me, I don't think they necessarily had enough pieces to even really get there. Now, yeah, you could say, hey, they could challenge this team or that team, but honestly, let that be it because you saw against the Wolves, I mean, it was a gentleman's sweep, and mainly because of the fact that they don't have a legitimate big against, the Wolves. I mean, you have Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and Naz Reid, and all those guys. So when you compare the Lakers, they're fairly a small team. So for me, I just didn't think that they had the, the personnel to really challenge, any team to say, hey, this is a legitimate contending team. Now, to Antoine's point, Rob Pelinka, now, yeah, if they truly retool the roster this offseason, if they go out and get a legitimate bid like a Clint Capella or a Brook Lopez or a Miles Turner or someone like that, and they make a few tweaks here and there, then you may have something. But for me, just to the fact that JJ Redick, to me, I think one of the reasons why they lost to Minnesota, he was out coached. Because even I had conversations with my friends earlier today about what the Lakers could have done. They could have, put in Alex Lynn or Jackson Hayes to challenge Rudy Gobert because he had a monster game last night with 27 points and 24 rebounds. So for me, I think those things happen when you're a first-time head coach where, you get out coached in certain situations. So you have that. And then, like I said, with the Lakers, I just don't think that they really had enough really to go all the way. And then for me with OKC, even though that they are a very young team, but I think that just from a depth standpoint, not even talking about SGA or Chet Holmgren, but also guys like Jalen Williams and Isaiah Hardenstein and Alex Caruso. I just think that they are a team that's more better fit because for me, to Antoine's point, yeah, I can see where you may come from a challenge standpoint as far as a matchup goes, but it's still where for OKC, where okay, if you play, small, they have the personnel to really, push them, over the edge, or they can go big as well. So I just think that for me, OKC, they were a team that had more depth than the Lakers. And I just think that again, with their continuity and what they're building, I think it's more sustainable for them versus the Lakers.
Mhm. All right, not me. Hey, nah, for sure, man. Nah, I thought I was gonna say something. Nah, I mean everything he said was true. Everything he said was true. Again, like I covered the team objectively. Again, like I'm not like a diehard fan who's gonna get on here and like talk out my ass and like say some. No.
We understand that.
Of course, and like now the only thing I'm getting to is just like, man, it was just like a terrible matchup. It was the worst one they could have possibly had in the first round, and it happened.
But I think depending. So let's say if they matched up with, let's say, Denver, I think it still would have been the same thing because again, Denver has the length to keep up with the big because that as we saw with the T-Wolves, it was all about the bigs. If you don't have a big that can cause enough problems for a Minnesota or for a Denver, for a OKC, for Cleveland for that matter. Like if you don't have bigs that can occupy their bigs enough to keep them out the paint, then the Lakers are going to continue to be in trouble that way because now LeBron has to work extra. Luka has to work extra. And then on top of that, your supporting cast, they're not giving you much of anything. Like it looked bad. It looked bad throughout that series. And so that's why we saw what we saw with this Minnesota series. Like, and we talked about it last week. Minnesota, regardless of the lineup, whether you went big, whether the Lakers went small, Minnesota could keep up. They had they can switch their lineup. They can take Rudy Gobert out. That's no problem because we got Naz Reid, who's tall enough, who's lanky enough,
and can shoot threes.
And yes, can shoot.
And that's another thing too, Wiley. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's another thing too, because I mean, you hear it, constantly. I mean, and it's been like this since Luka, been in the league, where we know how great of a offensive player that he is, but on the defensive end, it's like you're gonna get whatever you're going to get from him. And I think that I want to say he got exposed, but I think Minnesota they took advantage of that as well, because we know, to me, I think Anthony Edwards is the best two-way player in the league, at least at his position. So, with Minnesota, it's like, even though that they can go small, they can go big, but when you just look at the roster, I mean, head to head from a defensive standpoint, I mean, Minnesota is truly favored in that regard too. So that's why I say, it was kind of, difficult to see the Lakers, getting past the first round against this team, because, from a matchup standpoint, they're just going to throw a lot of problems. I mean, even JJ Redick, alluded to that point too, because he even said when the season ended, he said, look, even though they're they finished as a top 6 seed, but that's a team that's giving you a lot of problems. And, they showed that clearly.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like, again, like, the more I think about it, even if like they would have played like the Clippers or whatever, and like Ivica Zubac was down there, right. And like, I mean, man, like it's like they knew what it was when they pulled the trigger on the Anthony Davis trade. They knew exactly what it was. JJ Redick started Dorian Finney-Smith at the center position last night. It was just like, man, he didn't want to give Jackson Hayes a chance, even at his. I think Jackson about 7 foot. Like 6'11". So
is JJ off or something?
It's just
no, because I mean, yeah, because I mean, because like that's the same conversation I had, earlier. It's just like, okay, I mean, I get it from a matchup standpoint. You may not want to put him there, and things of that nature. But I mean, with Rudy Gobert, I mean, he's a 3-time All-Star. I mean, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. People know what he does, at his position. I mean, you could at least put in, like I said earlier, Jackson Hayes or Alex Len to at least, challenge him. So, I mean, people can have, can agree to disagree if they would have, if the Lakers would have won the series, if they started big. But, like I said, that's, for debate. But I mean, regardless, I mean, you could have at least, challenged them to at least give yourself a chance of some sort. But, JJ and his staff, they chose not to do it.
And yeah, I do want to be real about it for sure. I do agree with what the dude homie just said right there. You could make. I was about to get to that point actually. I think Minnesota could give Oklahoma problems, like especially like knowing that Oklahoma relies a lot on their bigs to take the opposing bigs out the post. Knowing Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren can both shoot the 3. I think Rudy Gobert is experienced enough to stay with the Chet Holmgren, and I think Julius Randle is athletic enough and mobile enough to 100% and physical enough to stay with Jalen Williams all night. And SGA and Anthony Edwards, that's a generational matchup made in heaven. It's crazy because SGA is 3 years older than Anthony. I would like to see them go off against each other, most definitely. And I only say Oklahoma and Minnesota in particular because obviously everybody has Oklahoma coming out of the first round as the favorite. So I think that could be the Western Conference Final. I'm not disrespecting Nuggets and the Clippers. We did see, I'm pretty sure Anthony Edwards beat the different Nuggets last year. So yeah, man. And again, that's another layer to it as well. Anthony also gets his revenge on Luka Doncic after losing to him last year in the Western Conference Finals. Like, I said that on the last podcast, like before the season. I think it was where the series started. It's really like it's cool to see like that's a part of NBA history now. Like they both bumped each other out. Luka was on a whole new team, and Luka was always in the Western Conference in Dallas, of course. But now, like they're gonna be playing each other, like in the playoffs, like every single year. Like it's always gonna happen. So,
I got 2 things. Well, my first thing, Julius Randle and Cat. Pretty much, is it me or are they the same player? Because these motherfuckers can't stay out of foul trouble.
Well, I
Go ahead.
mean,
Julius Randle pissed me off so bad.
From that standpoint, both guys are
I'm just
pretty,
I'm just talking about
prone.
I'm just talking about just strictly from. I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm talking about just from them playing defense and not being able to stay out of foul trouble. I feel like this trade was an even trade just on that standpoint. But on the serious note, the way these games have been being called, how do y'all feel about that? Because we have seen some very, very physical games, especially this Pistons Knicks game. Like, how do y'all feel these games have the way these games have been being called this first round?
It came out after I think it was Game 3 in Minnesota. That Jaden McDaniels had fouled Luka on I think it was the last shot attempt of the game. He didn't get a call. I know with the Celtics series, with the Jaylen Brown going up for a layup, I don't know if that was a foul that Paul Carroll can be committed on Jaylen Brown. I do think that could have been definitely debatable for certain. Jalen Brunson's been getting a lot of ridicule every single night for his flopping and things of that nature. Of course,
they just got a call reverse because he tried to sell one.
Yeah, he did that. Tried to do that the other night.
He just did it. He did it a couple minutes ago. He drove to the basket, pretty much lost his balance, and you see Tim Hardaway with his both hands up, and he's just looking at him like, and they called a foul on him, and they was like, "Yeah, go ahead and run that."
And it's pretty funny. Like, it's gonna sound like a joke. That's truly a part of their competitive spirit. They're trying. Like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. They're trying to win by any means necessary, whatever it takes.
The way these games have been called, or the lack of calls on, and this is on for any game on both sides. They have been letting them play
for sure.
Like, for the most part, although
that's how it goes.
There have been some obvious calls. Like, really, you not gonna call that? All right.
Mm-hmm. There was one game where I'm trying to remember what game someone was shooting a corner 3 ball.
And it was Tim Hardaway Jr. In the end of that game, he got fouled. They ate that whistle.
And that's the thing. Like, obviously, it's not like back in the 80s, back, obviously the gambling scandals and things of that nature.
This is some 90s type of basketball where
the Tim Donahue's and stuff like that,
Jesus.
I don't think it's not like that. Absolutely not. I do agree with Wiley, though. I think the refs be nervous too, man. I think the refs definitely be nervous in them playoffs games for certain, because so much is happening.
Ain't no time to be nervous. You've been doing this shit for years.
And I do think, of course, they don't like certain players. They do have interaction. There's definitely some emotion in it for sure. Most definitely, when they eject a certain player, even when Luka got ejected, he was talking to the fan, and the ref that he was talking to him, and he just sent him right out the game, So,
you could stay talking to a ref
for real. Nah. I do think he needs to stop that. Absolutely. Even of course, the Lakers did get eliminated. Talking about what they're going to do in the future, they got to get a center this year. They have to get a center this summer.
We'll break down. We'll do some breakdowns of teams during the off season here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll have some fun with that one because
most definitely
I'm interested in a few teams as far as what their next step is. To close our therapy session out, how do we feel, fellas? How do we feel? I'm glad we got. I feel like we made some good headway here.
Yeah, feel great.
Feel pretty good.
I feel amazing. I feel refreshed. You feel me? Shout out to the Lake Show. Shout out to the Lake Show. I look forward to just covering what they're gonna do this off season. just write about what I think they should do, of course, in a really thorough opinion. Maybe try to predict what they might do based on what Rob Pelinka has done in the past, being one of the most really aggressive GMs out here. He also got promoted to president of basketball operations this year after completing the Luka Doncic trade too. So they're making a lot of moves. They made a lot of moves mid-season, so I'd be shocked if they didn't make any moves this summer. They got a brighter future still. This season was whatever. They knew it was a long shot when they had to just adjust to playing with each other in the middle of the season like that. And now LeBron about to be 41 years old next year, man. Like LeBron, that's one season done for LeBron. One that he doesn't have many left, of course. And it sucks, man. It makes me sad, man. Not like them losing or nothing like that. But just like, man, like he's almost done, man. Still got much left, man. Like for real.
He's pretty much done. He's just doing this for the love of the game. I've always said LeBron is that old motherfucker in the club. Hey, Gramps, it's time, man. The lights is on. The lights is on. DJ trying to pack up. Hey, it's time to roll, big dog. But LeBron gonna do what LeBron gonna do. He's probably gonna. I'm sure he's gonna play at least another year or two. That's gonna be a strong 2. But yeah, I like I said, I've always said LeBron's that old motherfucker in the club that do not want to leave. And yeah.
And before we go to our last topic, I just wanted to ask you. It's funny, this shit happens every time we do this shit. So I mean, like again, so LeBron came in 2003. You feel me? I turned 4 years old that summer. You feel me? So I definitely was not able to comprehend what was going on the floor at all. You feel me? You got to see like his entire career, man. You got to see him like first get reporters like in high school, like ESPN was showing up to his games in Cleveland, like, you know, getting nationally televised games in high school, you know, and like to go on to be number one, like first.
I will say this, not to cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I will say this. That kind of changed the landscape to me when it came to high school basketball. When you had people like LeBron, Sebastian,
Dwight came out the next year. Dwight Howard.
Yeah, and I'm saying like you had ESPN. I mean, LeBron, of course, like he was the most hyped high schooler in the game. But then you started to see ESPN kind of start showcasing high school games here and there, little spots here and there, depending on who the player was. So, hey, like I said, I definitely got to see from the very beginning to now where we're at the end. Man. But yeah, I feel like that kind of spun where we started seeing more high school games on national television.
And again, and we're gonna move on. I just wanted to say that because you could be sitting at home, and he could just be like, "Man, I don't know if I want to come back."
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go through the pain of another. You know, tore his groin and all that. Like, I don't know if he might not know if he wants to do that. So it's just crazy, man. Like, you got to see like 03, 04, 04, 05, 05, 06, 06, 07 when he made the finals in 07. Got swept in 07. Like, you know, like all that. It's just like, I mean, you saw like
ups and downs.
All those years, you know, I would have really enjoyed to have seen him like at 22, 23, like just from 18 years old on. That's just like, even Michael Jordan didn't get to play from 18 years old on. You know, of course, Kobe Bryant did, Kevin Garnett did.
That rule wasn't in place yet.
And like I did say, Dwight Howard, of course. I like to people just don't talk about that enough for me. He did come out of high school the next year from Atlanta, Georgia, of course. He went on to go on to be the number one pick and was a superstar. Went on to be a future Hall of Famer. And all that.
Does not get well. He's finally getting the recognition that he deserves now that he's been inducted to the Hall of Fame. But yeah, like when it came to Dwight, especially when that top 75 list came out, I immediately kicked fucking Anthony Davis out that list because you didn't compared to Dwight, you ain't done shit. You hadn't done shit compared to Dwight. Dwight was a baller. Go back and check the tapes. Dwight was that motherfucking dude when he
made the finals at one point.
Yeah, carried them, and they had a squad. they had a squad and helped that team to the finals.
Mhm.
Got their ass kicked, but still.
Yep.
For real. And like,
But
yeah, and again, that's the last guy too. You also got to see him too, 2004 to 2012 in Orlando. So I didn't get to see Superman like that when I was in elementary school
wow.
and stuff like that. So yeah, man,
All
but
right.
that's it for me though. Let's get
Now
to it.
it's time to move on to all right,
Definitely.
y'all. Let me get my close up. So my evil genius ways, I have come up with a game that's going to carry us throughout the playoffs. Everyone's more than welcome to join us as we go along. So somewhere within the playoffs. So like we're in the first round, we're closing out the first round. So we're starting up this game. It's called Clutch or Choke. Either you're gonna be clutch or you're gonna choke. So, but with this, at least for this episode, we're gonna be easy. No trivia, but this is going to test everybody's basketball knowledge as to can you put a team together. So I posted this on Twitter. Got some help from the squad. You were to put a starting five together with the 6-man and a head coach. Now, there were parameters. You had to have a rookie, a lefty, a second rounder, a G leaguer, and an undrafted within that five. And then, like I said, a 6-man and your coach. And then on top of that, you were able to pick from the 80s up until the present. And to be specific, so if your rookie, you wanted it to be rookie J Kidd, boom, hey, I got rookie J Kidd. So we're going to start out. Again, we were texting we were texting earlier today about this. Hey, I had a rough time with my second rounder because of the way I was trying to construct my squad. I don't know if y'all had any issues putting y'all squad together, but I
Not
feel
really.
like this will be fun. And I think as people watch this episode and go through and do one themselves, I think they'll have a little bit of fun with it. But what I'll do here is we'll start with the rookie, and I'll just go down. We'll list off who our we'll list off who our player is, what they did during that time, or what player you pick, what year, whatever, and what they did during that time, and then we'll go through at the end and tally it up, and then we'll
All right.
we'll let America decide who had the better team.
Okay, for sure.
All right,
Most
so
definitely.
we'll go Garrett, you, and then I'll go last since I've done a hostile takeover here. So who you got for your rookie, Garrett?
All right. So who I have for my rookie is rookie Michael Jordan in the 1984-85 season. So during that season, he averaged 28.2 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, 5.9 assists, and 2.4 steals. As far as like accolades, he was rookie of the year, second team All NBA, first team All Rookie, and became a first time All Star during that season.
Shout out Rookie Jordan. Hey, Rookie Jordan was a monster.
He was crazy.
Antoine, who you got, dog?
Mm-hmm. So it was just like,
who's your rook?
so for a rookie, and like it was based off position, obviously when you were going player by player. All right. That's my only, I guess, like suspect pick, I guess. It's so funny. I didn't know we could pick rookies like that. I picked Stephon Castle this year. I thought it was rookies of this season. Obviously, he's still a great player. He's my only present day player on my list. He won Rookie of the Year this year, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, and
I'm not mad at your rookie though. I'm
and
not even
assists.
mad at your rookie.
Nah, it's all. Like I said, my team from here on out, like for sure, definitely gets.
Yeah, I'm not mad at your rookie because I was high on Stephon Castle when he got drafted. I was like, oh yeah, they. I was like, the Spurs got a good one, and I want to see how his career pans out. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, if I was going big, I would have said like rookie Kevin Durant or something like that. KD was a monster coming out of Texas. He averaged like I think 20 points per game, like his rookie year. So I don't know if LBJ makes my all-time GOAT team. MJ, Kobe, Magic, Bird, and Malone, Olajuwon, Allen Iverson, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Alonzo Mourning, plus more. Hey, like I get it.
No, Steve. So the way this lineup is, it's not your typical lineup. No, I respect it. Shout out to Steve, Tom, and Jazzy. Shout out to them hopping in and commenting, man. But yeah, the way this is, it had to make you be strategic with how you built your team. For me, I got rookie LeBron, 03 LeBron, 20.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists. All I needed, he's my point forward. Yes, I have a great point guard, but also I have LeBron to bring the ball up the court. We saw what he did his rookie season. Of course, he won Rookie of the Year. But you don't get those type of rookies outside of a Magic Johnson. And I was close to picking rookie Magic, because we saw what rookie Magic did, but I thought about defense. I thought about defense. So I'm like, if I have a team, I want my team to be able to play both sides of the ball. I want every position to play both sides. So I went ahead and took rookie LeBron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, before we move on to the undrafted player, if that's who's next, of course, whoever it may be. Man, like again, I interpreted it wrong. For real. Like if I would have picked like again.
I put it in the chat and I put it in parentheses. I said like rookie Jason Kidd.
Rookie. I get it. Nah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, like nah, hey. Like okay, just showing where my mind would have been. I probably would have chose like rookie Tim Duncan, out of Wake Forest. Like I'd have 100%. Like he averaged like 20 and 10 his first year. He helped the Spurs win a ring, like that. So I mean, yeah, or like rookie David Robinson averaging 24 points, 12 rebounds, his first year. So just showing where my head was obviously at. Like
it's all good. Like I said, I still like your rook though. Shit.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you. I think he has a really bright future at 20 years old.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the Georgia native from Covington. A lot of people don't know that. And yeah, man, that's it. Undrafted player.
All right, who's your lefty? Garrett?
Me? Oh, go ahead, Garrett. For sure.
My lefty. Oh yeah. So my lefty is 1990-91 David Robinson. Okay. He averaged 25.6 points per game, 13 rebounds, 3.9 blocks, and 1.5 steals. And during that season, he was first All-NBA defensive team, first team All-NBA, an All-Star, and he was the Defensive Player of the Year runner-up. So that's my lefty.
Who's your lefty, Antoine?
For me, I was going with Bill Russell from my lefty. I was gonna go with Bill Russell from my lefty. 1964, 1965, Bill Russell. Yeah, 14 points, 24 rebounds a game. He won MVP that year.
24
All
rebounds
NBA,
is nuts.
All NBA, All NBA. They also claimed the championship that year. They had a 62-18 record. Still the Celtics of today, how they were back then, of course. And yeah, man, I picked Bill Russell as my lefty and as my center.
Not mad at it. I picked 1995 David Robinson. LeBron is the beneficiary of the modern social media explosion. Hey, not even mad at it. Not even gonna hold you. He is, because that hype with LeBron, the hype that came with LeBron was nuts.
Just to give 2 seconds on that, though, we do have to give credit to his longevity. I don't think we've ever seen a 40-year-old in the NBA averaging these numbers. I don't know if you'll ever see that ever again. It's not going to be a point guard.
I don't think you'll ever see it, because I don't think players are going to want to play that long.
Seriously, and yeah, of course we can't spend too long on that, but yeah, I do think LeBron, he's generational talent. It's LeBron James. Everything he was supposed to do, he did it. Only thing he didn't do is win Defensive Player of the Year or something like that, or do a dunk contest, stuff like that. So,
but yeah, that's another topic for another episode
for sure.
Yeah, my lefty, 1995 David Robinson, 25 points, 12.2 rebounds, 3.3 blocks, 1 MVP.
24.
Look, I felt one of us was going to have either the same person in the same year or a different year and the same person. And here we are. Garrett, get out my head.
Hey man, I try to put the best team possible. So I had to do kind of a thorough, search. So yeah, like you say, you gotta be, strategic. So
I'll tell you. Well, I'll wait till we finish and tell you who I was mulling over. Second rounder. Who you? I'll start with Antoine. Antoine, who you got for your second rounder?
I'm a second rounder. I was going to go with the future Hall of Fame power forward, Draymond Green, 2016, 2017, Draymond Green. He won the Defensive Player of the Year that year. He averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. And yeah, he led the league in steals that year as well. And like I said, he did win Defensive Player of the Year. They also won a championship that year. That was the first year with Kevin Durant after the decision, of course. Yeah, I thought, Draymond Green, that year, I thought he was phenomenal. He made the All NBA defensive first team. Like I said, it was All NBA third team as well. Made the All-Star team that year. Won a ring that year. And let the whole league in steals that year as a power forward, which I think is pretty hard to do. For sure, absolutely. So, and at 35 years old, he's still trekking along. They're about to play tomorrow against Houston, so they're up right now. So he could go get a fifth ring this summer. But of course, keeping it with this, I got Draymond Green, 2016, 2017, the future Hall of Fame power forward out of Michigan State University.
Who you got, Garrett?
I got this year's Nikola Jokic.
Nice.
So averaged. So currently, right now, he's averaging 29.6 points per game, 12.7 rebounds, 10.2 assists, and 1.8 steals. Obviously, he became an all-star, and of course, he's probably going to be named first team All NBA. Possibly win MVP. It seems SGA is his only competition, but this season he did become one of the 3 players in NBA history to average triple-double alongside with Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook. So, yeah, so that's where I got my second rounder.
I got 06 Manu Ginobili. 16.5 points. Oh, Robert Horry has rings or 40 plus longevity.
But I mean,
role player. But that's easy to do as a role player. But also, no slight to the Alabama, to the Roll Tide, of Robert
alumni. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I get it.
He was perfect. He was like the perfect. I will say, Robert Ory was like that perfect teammate that you could have on your team, and we saw what he did in those moments that he had. Like he had some moments. Jesus.
Of course. And absolutely, big shot Bob for sure. I mean, like, of course, rings anyone can win a ring on the bench as a role player. Like, only the greatest of all time can actually make history individually in a league full of 100, like 40, like 300 men who are all world-class basketball players, and you go on to be the same guy going to the finals 10 consecutive years in a row.
I mean, if you ain't got that ring.
Of course, and like, first and foremost, Michael Jordan is my greatest of all time. I've always said that. The 2 3-peats do it for me. He never lost to finals, and again 2 3-peats. Like he came in, he won 3 in a row. I was like, hey, all right, y'all are so mad. I'm gonna put my ball down. Y'all can have it. I'll come back a couple years from now. We'll see what happens. He came back. And he won 3 more. So it's like you just don't see a player like LeBron dominated a conference. Michael dominated an entire league. So yeah, like I think Michael Jordan's my GOAT. But yeah, keeping LeBron, man, come on. Like argue was definitely like second greatest player. Like
I ain't worried about all that. But yeah,
I mean,
to my second rounder, Manu Ginobili.
Sure.
Probably one of the most underrated second rounders in the game. Like I said, 06 average 16.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. I think they won the championship that year, if I'm not mistaken.
05.
05.
03, 05, 07.
But yeah, I chose his best year as far as from a stat standpoint. But Manu was that glue guy. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't get that credit that he deserved. Well, he did of course at the end, but when you think about it, to me, he was the glue guy for the Spurs. If they needed a bucket, he could go get one. He was like one of those few players that can just go get a bucket when you needed one. And of course, the master of the fucking Euro step.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's been name dropped by so many rappers nowadays. It's pretty crazy even talking about his left hand. For real. Absolutely. Right. 4-time NBA champion.
Antoine, who you got for your G Leaguer?
For my G League alumni, I was in between 2 people, but I went with the small 4 position on this one. I picked Jalen Johnson, the Atlanta Hawk. He did play for the College Park Skyhawks from 2021 to 2022, so he was in the G League before he came up to the Hawks. Coming out of Duke, and I picked this year Jalen Johnson before he got injured. Of course, he was averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. He was playing great this year. He was shooting the ball well at the free throw line. He was looking good. I was improving in every facet of his game, and for him to be a G League alumni, because of course the G League's pretty new, and compared to the players we've been mentioning, so in terms of G League alumni, I was going to go with Jalen Johnson. I think he's a future All-Star. Even if he played for the Portland Trail Blazers, I'd be saying that. Definitely a future All-Star in my opinion, if the Hawks start to win, of course. And yeah, I think his upside is incredible. Looking this good at 23 years old. So I got Jalen Johnson as my G League alumni.
Garrett, who you got?
Well, he's a Hawk too. I got Dyson Daniels. So average 14.1 points per game, 3 steals, led the league in steals, 5.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists. Obviously, he was the Defensive Player of the Year runner-up and won Most Improved Player of the Year award. And it's only going to get better for him from here. So he acknowledged that he still needs to work on his offense. Of course, we all know what he does on the defensive end, but yeah, once he gets his offense squared away, then he's definitely going to be one of the top 2-way guards in the league. So yeah, that's what I got.
Pick another one of my players again, dog. Pick another one of my players, because I picked Dyson Daniels too.
Hey man, two great minds think alike, bro. So
Great
we got
minds
we
do
got
think
we, we
alike.
we got to embrace it, man. We
Hey,
got to.
although I looked at Jalen Green, I looked at Scoot. There were a couple more. Hell, you had the Thompson twins. Um, like you had a few, and then like looking like doing a little bit of research, like the way that they were, because you have to think about it. You have a lot of players that go in and out of the G League. So I seen like who was it? Jonathan Kaminga. I saw his name up there. Gary Payton II. Saw his name. But it was like I wanted somebody that was like legit in the G League. Like didn't go to college, like skip college to go straight to the G League. So yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, like fucking he just won 6th man of the year. And that was one of my toss-ups. It was, do I pick him for 6th man of the year or do I take him as my G Leaguer? And I was like, it's gonna be easy to take my G Leaguer because I can find a better 6th man of the year.
Nah, hey, I get it for sure. Now it was a good pick by both of you. Like, and yeah, that's what I said. It was definitely between two because I know Dyson did play for G League Ignite, of course, coming out of Australia. So, yeah, man, I think we got two more. We got the 6th man and the undrafted players. So I'm definitely interested to see what y'all
and the coach.
And the coach,
Yep.
right?
And the
Right.
coach,
baby.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. Excuse me, Garrett. Who you got for your undrafted?
Undrafted, I got Alex Caruso out of
If you
OKC.
would have picked another one of my guys, I'm telling you, I was about to hop in the whip and come on down to Atlanta.
Hey, we got two more, so we gotta see. So yeah, I got
Right.
Alex Caruso out of OKC. Actually, let me go back. Yeah, so yeah, I'll take that back. Alex Caruso in 2023-24 season, where he averaged 10.1 points per game, 1.7 steals, 1 block, shot 40% from 3. During that season, he was second all NBA defensive team during that season there.
Antoine, who you got?
For me,
undrafted?
I'm definitely gonna say my honorable mention because my pick is of course someone by center power forward, all the positions and stuff. For the center,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Not good.
Jazzy, what is wrong with you?
This is nobody want Ben Simmons. Nah, he's right though, for sure. Most definitely not for me. Because again, I was gonna pick the center originally, but I went with Bill Russell. My honorable mention was, of course, Benjamin Wallace.
Bill Russell?
No. Like I went just like if for my center, I was in between like Bill Russell and Ben Wallace, knowing like he was no, you're fine, you're good, knowing he was undrafted, but not cutting to the chase though. I picked Austin Reeves as my undrafted player. Didn't play that good in the playoffs, obviously, but I think he's still a good player when it comes down to it. He hadn't been under that kind of pressure before, being a third option in a playoff series like that, but I think he's still growing at 26 years old. He averaged 20 points per game, like 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Looking really good this year. He's starting to, really string it together alongside Luka Doncic. So, and he was undrafted. Coming out of Oklahoma State, not Oklahoma, OU, yeah, Oklahoma. So, yeah, man. So, most definitely, I was gonna go with Austin Reeves from my undrafted, and he's my shooting guard, as well.
All right, my undrafted Hall of Famer Ben Wallace.
Yep.
03 Ben Wallace, 9.5 points per game, 12.4 rebounds, 3 blocks per game. Enough said. Like you know what time it is when Ben Wallace is on the floor. All I'm saying is good luck coming in the paint on my team. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Who, 6 man. Who you got, Garrett?
Go ahead.
6 man, I got 2017-18 season Lou Williams, straight out of Lithonia, Georgia. Or Lithonia, rather. But yeah, so yeah, he averaged 22.6 points per game, 5.3 assists, and he won 6 man of the year award. during that season with the Clippers.
Shout out.
Big Ben.
Who you got? Who's your sixth man?
Hey, I'm pulling a Garrett on this one because it turns out we're copying each other. I got 6 man of the year. 04, 2004, 2005. No. With Wiley. 2004, 2005. Manu Ginobili. They won a ring that year. With the San Antonio Spurs. He averaged 16 points, 4.4.
Get off my team, Jock, man.
I mean, hey, I had him first. I made my list like 2 nights ago. You feel me? So I feel like I had him first, low key. I got Manu Ginobili. They won a ring that year, like I said, 16 points, 4.4 rebounds, 3.9 assists. He made the All-Star team that year, coming off the bench, which is extremely hard to do for any player. It doesn't matter. So, yep.
Manu was that dude. My sixth man, Nas Reed.
Nas Reed.
2024 Nas Reed. 13.5 points, 5.2 rebounds, 1.3 assists. Can defend, can shoot it. Hey, again, my team, come fucking around, come pussyfooting around on my team if you want to. We locking you up.
You're gonna foul out.
You a lie. Hey, I don't have Julius Randle or Cat on my team. We locking you up. We locking you up.
For real.
All right, and for your coach, who you got, Antoine?
Yeah, man. I was gonna go with the legendary. Make sure I got the right year. Legendary 1995, 1996, Phil Jackson. He was the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. They went 72-10 that year, and they lived up to the hype. Unlike the Warriors, of course, they went on to win the championship that year as well. I'm just saying like that's a big thing about they won 73 games.
Again, don't mean a thing if you don't win the ring.
Of course, absolutely, yeah. Watching that in high school, like I remember watching them on the win streak and stuff. I'm like, there's no way they're not, and like they were that one game where they had 72 wins and they did 73-9. Like it's still crazy. I forget they went 73-9, and that was before Kevin Durant, so it's crazy. But yeah, I got the legendary 96 Phil Jackson. They won a ring that year. His team, he coached, like I said, won 72 games back then, which was incredible. With Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Michael Jordan. So I got 96 Phil Jackson to lead my team to victory.
Garrett, who your coach? Who coaching the squad? Who coaching the squad?
Well, I got the 2015-16 Steve Kerr because he the one that broke the record, 73-9. Even though they didn't win the championship, but 73-9, man. Gotta give it to the brother.
Nah, for sure. That was a good pick, for sure. If anyone, it had to be the person who broke the record, so.
Hey, I feel like playing under Steve Kerr, like that, that feels like a free for all. It's like, all right, we got these plays, but also just go out there. Y'all know what to do. y'all know what to do.
Pretty much.
My coach, 1997, Pat Riley. At the time, he was the coach of the Miami Heat. Took them to a 61-21 record. They lost in the conference finals, but the reason why I picked him, he was coach of the year for 3 different teams: the 1990 Lakers, the 93 Knicks, the 97 Heat. We about to motherfucking whoop y'all ass. My team is about to dog y'all.
Nah, I mean, yeah. Again, like if it's gonna be anyone, obviously it has to be PR. Most definitely. The Bulls coach. Hey, the whole Jerry Krause stuff. Hey, rest in peace, Jerry Krause. Most definitely. Yeah, man. Like I get it. Like if anything, like it had to been someone like that, like a Red Auerbach, Pat Riley. I think Lenny Wilkins.
I went with coaches I knew. Like I went with coaches. Like I went with players. I tried to go with players and coaches that I saw with my own eyes. Like of course, yes, I could have like you did. I could have went and got a Bill Russell or a Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, that's easy, but it's also hard due to the fact that I've never seen them play. And as much as I wanted to pick, I thought about picking rookie Mike, but I was like, also, what type of team do I want to build? I want to build two-way players. I want two-way players across the board outside of my bigs. And really, it's only one big that's not a two-way player, and that's Ben Wallace. But everybody else, we gonna lock you up, and we can hoop, and we can shoot it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nah, I mean, hey, I like all three rosters. Before we close it, I'm curious. Do you think Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain would have played good in the 80s and 90s with Shaq and Hakeem?
What?
And
Yes, hell yeah, they would have. What?
all right, cool.
Although I hate the error. Like
Comparison.
That error comparison. But when you have a Wilt, like Wilt was, that was unheard of. Both him and Bill Russell, for that matter. That wasn't unheard of, especially their size, the way they played the game. Like, of course, the game is a hell of a lot different in the 90s compared to when they played. But from a basic standpoint, like, they understood the game. So that's not going to stop what they did. That's not going to stop what they did when it came to their position, especially you were still playing feed the ball in the post first, inside out. You're still playing that inside out game. So for them, shit, I'm about to do work.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you're right. I do agree. I like all three coaches, all three future Hall of Famers, all three top 15 head coaches of all time.
And my team is washing y'all.
I don't know about that. You feel
My
me?
team is washing y'all. Like I said, come in the paint with that bullshit, and we pinning it to the backboard and we going the other way.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, hey, like so Wallace, no beard. So. You feel me? Nah.
Look, I'm talking so.
I don't want to smoke, bro. I don't want to smoke.
I'm talking so much trash. I said, look, we gotta let America decide. We gotta let the people decide. But nah, that was dope. I'm, like I said, with this, I wanted to break the monotony of what we do, and like I said, I also wanted to go along with the playoffs. So when we get to the semifinals is going to be just some basic trivia. I don't want to make y'all nervous, so yeah, there is going to be a little mixture of multiple choice and a fill in the blank. Like, again, nothing too crazy. Look, y'all been watching ball. It's just more so I might stump y'all on a little bit of history. What we got? Funnest teams to not get a ring. Oh yeah. That was a fun team. The Charlotte Hornets with Larry Johnson, Lonzo Mourning, and Muggsy Bogues. That was a I can't disagree with that. That was a hell of a team right there. Also, Muggsy Bogues doesn't get the recognition that he deserves for as long as that he played at that size.
5'3".
Conversation for another episode. But yeah, like I said, the semifinals, basic basketball trivia, nothing too crazy. Again, as we get further into the playoffs, we gonna get real, especially when we get to the finals. Finals, I feel like it's gonna be good because I feel like y'all gonna be relatively close in points. Yes, I'm keeping points. I'm keeping points. I want to keep points because I want one of y'all gonna get the brag.
Let's get it.
But
I'm always for it. You feel me? I ain't done shit. You know, so I mean, hey, like,
for the people that are watching, for the people that are listening. Like I said, this is just to break the monotony up. Again, when the semifinals, it'll be somewhere in the middle of the semifinals. So, and that's what I'm trying to do. It gives us enough time, gives me enough time to get some stuff together, gives y'all enough time to, to look over whatever y'all gonna look over. And then it gives the playoffs enough time to go through its motion.
Mhm.
So again, I hope everybody enjoyed this. Again, I came up with this off the whim just to break this up. So, and I also hope that people participate on Twitter, on social media, on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere that you can find us. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, hit us up, man. Put your squad in. Put your squad in. I want to see people's squad, man. I'm interested to see if anybody participates with us. But Antoine, I will look. I'm gonna hang up and listen for the rest of this, and let you close this bad boy out, man.
No, man, you did a great job, man. I had a lot of fun doing that. It was really creative, very constructive, educational as well, to say the least. Most definitely. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone who took the time out to watch us tonight. Y'all could have been anywhere, but y'all were here with us. So very grateful for your time. Never unappreciated. Absolutely. And yeah, man, love doing this shit every time I'm talking to hoops. Really entertaining podcast, most definitely. We'll see what the Lakers do. OKC is moving on. Cleveland's moving on. Indiana is moving on. Would like to see Milwaukee move on, but it's basketball. I won't say upsets. I don't want to disrespect Indiana, but anything can happen in the series, most definitely. So, got the Nuggets and the Clippers playing right now for those who are watching. So, that's it for me, Garrett. Unless you got anything else, I'm good to go, brother. Most definitely.
No, sir. It was definitely fun. So can't wait to get into it more throughout the playoffs and when we get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Knicks are moving on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they won. Damn,
Yep.
Detroit.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a sec.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Pistons. Cade has a bright future. We'll see what Jaden Ivey, what they do next year. They don't have to go out get no pieces this summer. They got the roster. They just got to develop. That's it. Keep the guys under contract. Keep them satisfied. They've tasted the playoffs, so they're gonna keep the core together for sure. And shout out to Cade Cunningham. He has a really, really bright future the next 10 years. So can't wait to watch Detroit. Most definitely. And thank y'all again for watching. Absolutely. God bless y'all. And y'all have a nice night. Most definitely.
One band, one sound, one sound. They give me